Yo, welcome back to Eat, Sleep, Breathe, Hoops with your boy, Nikki P. Thanks for tuning back in. Y'all know what it is, man. Let's jump into these hoops. Y'all saw the thumbnail. About to dive into the forgotten legend of Shawn Kemp. If you ain't heard of him, get your popcorn ready and tune in. Have you ever seen a thunderstorm given human form? Not the gentle rain, but the cataclysmic, earth-shaking kind. The flash that blinds you, the roar that silences everything, and the undeniable feeling that nature in that moment is both beautiful and violently unrestrained. That was Shawn Kemp. His story isn't just a career chronology. It's a modern myth, a parable about meteoric rise, otherworldly talent, self-inflicted demise, and a legacy that echoes in every arena, even if his name is sometimes whispered and not shouted. Today we resurrect the forgotten legend of the Rain Man. The dawning of the storm. Our story begins in Elkhart, Indiana, where a teenage Kemp wasn't just a basketball player, he was a local reckoning. In high school, he was a man among boys at 6'10", a force of nature with the grace of a guard. He led Concord High School to a state championship, his game built on a foundation of sheer, terrifying athleticism. But academics were a struggle, a foretelling crack in the foundation. He enrolled at the University of Kentucky, but never played a game, a victim of off-court entanglements and poor decisions. He transferred to Trinity Valley Community College, a cosmic talent in a setting too small to contain him. The NBA, seeing raw lightning in a bottle, called his name in 1989. The Seattle Supersonics, with a visionary gamble, drafted him 17th overall. The Storm had made the landfall. The Rain in Seattle, a peak of pure power. In Seattle, Shawn Kemp found his kingdom, paired with the gritty Xavier McDaniel, and then fatefully with the maestro, Gary Payton, the glove. Kemp became the engine of the sonic boom. And what an engine it was. We must talk about the dunks. You all know it. To call Shawn Kemp a great dunker is to call Michelangelo a decent painter. He redefined the art of the power dunk. It wasn't just about elevation, though he had springs in his legs that seemed powered by myth. It was about intent. It was about ferocity. When Kemp took off, it was a declaration of war on the rim, and on any soul unfortunate enough to be in the painted area at the time. He didn't just dunk on people, he annihilated them. He destroyed confidence. The dunk over Alton Lister in the 1992 playoffs, a moment so iconic it has its own name, the Lister Blister. Kemp stared down the fallen Lister, a primal, wordless roar that said, "This is my domain." He was a pogo stick of vengeance. The putback slams where he seemed to hang in the air waiting for physics to catch up before hammering the ball through the cylinder with two hands as if he was trying to break the backboard's wheel. The fast break alley-oops from Payton where he'd take off from somewhere near the dotted line, a 250-pound freight train taking flight and finishing with a windmill or a double clutch that defied logic. His athleticism wasn't just elite, it was historic. He was LeBron's power with Dominque's flair, a hybrid the league had never quite seen. But here's where the legend deepens, and where casual memory fails. Shawn Kemp was not just a dunker. By the peak of his powers in the mid-90s, he had developed a deadly, feathery mid-range jumper from the elbow and the baseline. It was a thing of beauty, a high, arcing shot that was all but unblockable. He added a decent, crafty post-game, a quick spin, a drop step, a little baby hook. He led the Sonics in scoring for 5 straight years. In '96, he powered Seattle to 64 wins in the NBA Finals, averaging a brilliant 19.6 points a game and 11.4 rebounds in the playoffs, going toe-to-toe with the likes of Michael Jordan and the Bulls. He was a 5-time All-NBA selection, a 6-time All-Star. He wasn't just an athlete, he was a superstar at the peak of his height. The tempest within and the unraveling. But storms are chaotic, they can turn. Kemp's life off the court began to mirror the uncontrolled force of his play on it. His personal life became tabloid fodder, with numerous paternity suits and a growing number of children with different women, a financial and emotional drain that would haunt him. He felt slighted by management, believing he was the heart of the Sonics and deserving a max contract. A bitter holdout led to a 3-team trade that sent him to Cleveland in 1997. It was the beginning of the end. The fire that fueled him in Seattle began to flicker. Without the structure, the rivalry with Payton, the adoration of the Seattle crowd, he had lost his way. He reported to camp out of shape. The legendary bounce began to fade. He played for Cleveland and Portland and Orlando, bounced around a little bit. He tried to reinvent himself as a burly power player, but the magic was gone. The league that once trembled at his lift now saw a grounded, diminished version of a basketball legend. By 2003, at just 33 years old, Shawn Kemp was out of the NBA. The Thunder had faded to a distant, melancholy rumble. The eternal echo. So why do we remember? Why does this forgotten legend persist? Because Shawn Kemp's impact is etched into the DNA of the modern NBA. Look around. Every time Blake Griffin soared over a car, every time Zion Williamson barreled to the rim with a combination of mass and lift, every time Ja Morant took off from seemingly impossible distances, we see shades of Shawn Kemp. He was the prototype for the hyper-athletic, highlight reel power forward. He made the power dunk an event, a momentum-shifting, soul-crushing weapon. He showed that athleticism alone could make you a star, but to be a legend, you had to add skill, which he did, however briefly. His tragic arc is a cautionary tale taught to every young phenom about professionalism, about choices, about how the very intensity that makes you can also break you. In Seattle, he remains a folk hero, the last true, unadulterated force in nature the franchise had. In a league now obsessed with analytics and efficiency, Kemp reminds us of the raw, emotional, visceral power of sports. He was a feeling. The forgotten legend of Shawn Kemp is not a story with a happy ending. It's a Greek tragedy in high tops. It's about a man who could touch the clouds but couldn't quite steer the storm inside himself. He was a supernova, blindingly bright, breathtakingly powerful, and gone far too soon. But for one glorious reign in the Pacific Northwest, he was the most electrifying force in basketball. He wasn't just a player, he was an experience. He was the thunderclap that followed the lightning flash. And if you listen closely in the roar of a crowd after a monstrous dunk, you can still hear it. The rain may be over, but the echo lasts forever. Tap in, let me know what you think about that boy Shawn Kemp. I hope this enlightened you to him if you had never heard of him before, and if you have, you know how much of a beast he was in his prime. Let me know y'all thoughts, let me know what you think. Did that Seattle team have won a ring? What you think? Jump in that comment section, share, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And you know what time it is. It's eat, sleep, breathe, hoops. And until the next one, peace.